On this episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, Payton Paton and the Denver Broncos, they're in Indianapolis for the NFL Combine, and they had a lot to say, including what they said about Davis Webb. We'll get to that, as well as prospects we love, plus the judge. He's not happy about some free agent rumors. We'll get to all of that and more on this episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, starting right about now. Welcome in, everybody, to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. My name is Keith Brugman. I'll be one of your hosts. Got my good friend here, Jody, the Judge Moncrief, and welcome, Posse members. That's all of you in the chat, along for the ride, talking your Denver Broncos right here in the off season as well. Jody, welcome in, my friend. So good to see you. As the off season is upon us, the Denver Broncos are in Indianapolis, but how are you doing, my friend? How's your week been so far?
So far, so good. No complaints. Sean Payton making lots of news, speaking at the Combine yesterday, and I'm excited for that and can't wait for the season to start. I mean, liking all the moves so far, so no complaints.
Jody's just getting right straight to business. Forget about my week. I want to talk about Sean Payton's week. I want to talk about George Payton's week. I want to talk about this Denver Broncos team. He's excited for the season and for the new year, man. And there's lots of reasons to be excited, man. It's crazy out there, man. Life is moving fast, man. It seems like days are ticking away, months are ticking away. It's kind of crazy. We're all the way through February. Before we know it, it'll be March. Springtime is right around the corner, and man, that makes me start thinking about spring training. And I mean, it's wild how quickly these days pass.
Free agency in a couple weeks.
Free agency in a couple of weeks. Yeah, it just absolutely. It's amazing. Like even Sean Payton alluded to, George Payton alluded to. You know, when you play an extra 3 weeks, everything the timetable gets sped up on you a little bit. Timetable sped on us, up on us. By the way, I need to mention this right off the bat. I couldn't remember if it was last week or the week before that. We were given birthday shout-outs, man. We're giving birthday shout-outs to Pearl Heater, our fantastic sponsor, and we started talking about that right off the bat. But we have other birthdays as well. Got to talk about our good friend. Well, not our good friend. Certainly our fantastic quarterback, Bo Nix, celebrating the 26th, man. Congratulations to Bo Nix. Happy birthday to you, my friend, man. And young quarterback with a lot of future for us, Jody. That's just one birthday we got to celebrate today, right, man?
Yep, I agree. That's the franchise. Hopefully, he plays himself into a big contract this year. What was the thing I seen last week? 300 and some days till he leads us to Super Bowl.
I love it, brother. I love it. One other birthday that I just found out about right before we went on. I think it's the 130th birthday, if I remember correctly. Lion Coffee. Lion Coffee, always in my cup. It's their birthday today. LionCoffee.com. If you're a coffee lover, check them out as well. I got to say hello to the Posse members as they're starting to come in. Adam and Kayla saying, hey, family. Much love, guys, and much love to you, Adam and Kayla. Hope you're all doing well. Life is great out there for you, and excited to talk some Denver Broncos football with you all. So Ernie May is coming in. Go Broncos country only. Hello, Keith and Jody. And Bo Nix, 26. Bo Nix for 6. No, Bo Nix for 26 today. It's his birthday, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming in, Ernie, and being a part of the conversation, man. Sean Payton, George Payton, man. They touchdown in Indianapolis. They're doing all the interviews right now, which quite honestly might be the most intriguing part about the combine, but of course the part that we don't get to see. But that being said, they also got in front of microphones and media members and answered some questions, and some questions were asked. Jody, I think the biggest one on everybody's mind was asked and answered. Sometimes you don't always get the answer that you're you're asking for. A few people realized that as they were talking to Sean Payton on this. But that being said, man, he did answer questions about Davis Webb, and a big answers out of his mouth. Talk about it, man, because Davis Webb is leveling up what he's going to be doing for the Denver Broncos in 2026.
Something that I didn't think I'd ever see Sean Payton do. Whether behind the scenes or not, but I mean, it sounded like he voluntarily is giving up play calling, and it was done mostly or 100% to keep Davis Webb here. So, I like the move. Hopefully, Davis Webb, from the little we've seen in preseason, hopefully he can get plays in quicker. Hopefully, he can stop so much on the personnel changes every other play. Hopefully he'll commit to running the ball a little bit more. Those type of things. I mean, Sean Payton did say he's still going to have his hand in plays, and he's going to have those strategic plays that he's going to call. But I think that right there will clean up a lot of things, and I'm excited for that.
I got to put you on the spot, Jody, because I'm gonna. If you listen to what Sean Payton said, he said, "Hey, this had nothing to do with Davis Webb. We didn't have any conversations. He didn't come in and say, unless I get play calling, I'm not staying," type of situation. He said that this came about really kind of mid-season, these conversations in this last mid-year, and even, goes all the way back and to the point that he was challenging him last offseason and had him play calls in a preseason game. Are you saying I'm calling Sean Payton's bluff? This was absolutely a move that was made just to keep Davis Webb, and if Davis Webb didn't have a foot out the door with other teams looking at him, we wouldn't be seeing this move? Is that what you're saying, my friend?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, where the amount of different places he interviewed, and I mean, you don't see a lot of things. And even Sean McVay was calling plays. I think you see that kind of meteoric rise from quarterback, playing 1 year to a couple of years as a quarterback coach to getting head coaching interviews.
Yeah.
So, and if you listen to George Payton, I mean, he basically said when they interviewed him 3 years ago, he blew their doors off, and then they started talking, and about 15 minutes into it, they basically said, "What the hell are we doing? We better lock this guy up now, because if he takes another interview, he's never coming back."
Very true.
And that was when he was 28 years old. So, I mean, he's, from all accounts, I mean, he's mature, way mature above his age. But they said he's got swag and some different things, which I think he fits or bonds a little bit more with players because he's around their age. Sean Payton, not so much. So, which I'm fine with. I mean, this team needed a complete overhaul, and that's what he did. I mean, from where it was with Hackett to where it is now, he can take all the shots he wants because it was a mess when he came here. And in 3 years, he had him a hurt quarterback away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, very true. Very true. For me, even for Davis Webb, I just had to go back to the fact that he endured the Russell Wilson days, came out of that, and was still considered a quality quarterbacks coach and an offensive mind. And it's when you're living through some of that, that'd be no. Davis Webb was not with. Am I getting my timeline mixed up? I thought Davis Webb was with Russell Wilson as well. Am I wrong? Oh yeah, first year.
He was first year, so
Yep.
that was one of Sean Payton's first hires.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Very good. I all of a sudden I like started losing track of my timeline there for a second. So, his involvement in that and to be able to come out of that and progress forward, there was not a lot of people who lived through that and saw the brighter, sunnier side of things. And Davis Webb has obviously shown his worth. Roy's coming in here, always showing his worth to us and being a great, fantastic posse member. He says, "Hey there, horsemen of the posse," just letting us know it's cold and snowy there, as it is in many parts of the country within the last week. And he says there's more to come this weekend. But Roy's been strong about his opinions. He was strong about him last year and coming in pretty strong this year. He says, "This is my opinion. With all these changes in a short period of time, I can see a regression in the upcoming season. It's like rebuilding again. Then the new players will come in. Don't think we can be what we are next season." Compared to maybe last year. One of the things that Sean Payton was even on record and talking about was the fact that this team was in a lot of very close games. He was talking about this at the combine and how, those close games, he's not going to fool himself. It doesn't take much for a player or two to go a different direction, and a handful of those games end up being losses rather than wins. Sean Payton's worried about it. Roy's showing a little bit of concern, especially with the turnover. Let's talk a little bit about the turnover, because I think this also segues a little bit out into some replacements, I guess you could say. Jim Leonard, we found out about his replacement as well today. Are you worried though about the regression? Then we can talk about these coaching hires that we've seen as well.
I'm not, just because Sean Livingston, for example, he's worked with VJ. He knows the scheme. They worked together in Cincinnati. Ronald Curry, he's worked with Sean Payton for a lot of years in New Orleans. So I'm not at all worried about, he's bringing in guys that he has continuity with and different things. So I'm not at all worried about that.
Yeah.
Plus, if even personnel wise, I mean, we're going to have a lot of the same players on this team. This defense is mainly set 1, 2, 3 guys, maybe. Same on the offense. I think 1, 2, maybe 3 different guys. That's it. So you're going to have a lot of the same things come back. And I've said this since we knew Denver was going to have a first place schedule. You may lose a few more games and see 11, 12 instead of 14 wins. But I think you may be a better team all around, scoring more points and different things, just because of how tough your schedule is going to be this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have to agree. And the one thing that, gosh, makes me feel good about this, Rodney, is we're in a really good. Rodney, I'm sorry, getting all my R's mixed up. Roy, Rodney's coming in right after you, Roy. But Roy, the one thing that makes me feel a little bit more confident is just the approach I think that we actually can have in this season, with the fruit that we could see bared out of last season, as well as now having some cap space and your draft picks and everything in the basket. When Jody's kind of talking, and I agree, Jody, with us adding 2 or 3 players, maybe on the defense, or 2 or 3 players over there on the offensive side, you're able to really go out there and concentrate on maybe getting some of the best in those positions, because you're only talking about 2 or 3, and they should be upgrades to your roster from last year. It's an all-in type of year, and Rodney's coming in, and he's got some questions around that, man. If you don't mind, we'll get to that as well. Rodney's coming in and saying, "Good evening, Keith and Jody. What are your chances that, in your opinion, that we sign free agent Wan'Dale Robinson or Romeo Doubs?" I'll put them both on the table for you, my friend Jody. We're a lot of talk about upgrading that wide receiver room from the media and the fans and alike. Now, I'll just be honest. If you listen to Sean Payton and what he talked about at the combine, maybe he doesn't see it as big of a need, or maybe it's a smokescreen. Either way, Wan'Dale Robinson, Romeo Doubs, give it, I don't know, on a percentage, a 1 to 10 chance, however you want to do it. Give Rodney an answer here if you don't mind.
In my opinion, both those guys won too. I mean, in my opinion, they fall in the Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, Marvin Mims. I don't need more 3-4-5s. I need a one or I need a solid 1A. And so that's where I'm taking a home run swing. I don't want another one of those guys, especially if one of these guys is going to stunt the growth of Bryant or Franklin. I need a true number one or a Batman to Cortland or a Robin to Cortland Sutton, like a T. Higgins to Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna sprinkle in one other name that kind of maybe fits for some people that one role, for some people that 3-4-5. I don't know. Jalen Waddle, would that move the needle any different than Romeo Dobbs or Wan'Dale Robinson for you?
Yeah, because I think that's a true one.
Okay.
He's on my short list. George Pickens, Waddle, AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I'll even throw in. This is probably the only one that people may not agree with. I'll even throw in Michael Pittman. Those are guys that I think can be a true 1 or 1A to Sutton.
He likes Waddle. He says Waddle would be nice. I like your idea as well there. To be honest, I like a little bit larger body wide receiver, so I think that would play best. I know that Troy Franklin supposedly is a bigger body receiver, but certainly not a Marvin Mims.
And he claims he's going to put weight on this offseason. I mean, that was one of his goals, put weight on. So
there you go. Yeah, are we going to see a sale or an opportunity for Garrett Wilson? Yeah, Garrett Wilson would be an obvious, big check, as far as the checklist goes on wide receivers and making sure that you're all set and don't have to go out there in the draft if you got a Garrett Wilson. In my opinion, Garrett Wilson is a fantastic receiver, just stuck on one of the worst teams.
And I'm not sure that
he's him unleashed.
Really even an option just because of the news of Breece Hall that they're going to tag him. Mm-hmm. I think they want to keep that's part of their core. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. I don't think they want to get rid of that unless some team just wants to throw them multiple first-round picks, and which I don't think Denver's going to do. I mean, they said they're going to be aggressively smart. So that's why I don't even think Waddle's really an option. I mean, from what I heard, it sounded like Sean Payton shot that down at the trade deadline this last season. So I'm not sure that that's a real option. I think if I was going to say anyone, it's AJ Brown, just because he's disgruntled there, and I think you can make some moves, and you've got some pieces that would intrigue Philly.
Jets are going to waste the talent, and this is one that I get on board with. Paul's coming in over on YouTube. Paul, thanks for coming in. Rodney, thanks for coming in over on YouTube. But get Mike Evans. That's I'm not usually a guy who's all about injured or recently injured or, I don't know, older players on the last few of their seasons. But Mike Evans is a guy that plays football, loves football, will give it all for football. And if he wants to go out there and win a championship and is willing to say, I didn't end my career as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer because I wanted to get that championship and I thought I could get it in Denver. I think sign me up, man. I think sign me up is the answer I have there. I think that would be a great addition. And just
he falls into that Neil Smith category for me. That a longtime Chief, and at the very end came over to Denver and won himself a couple rings. And
yep. Got to say hello to Miss Pearl, who's coming in over on YouTube. Hello, Miss Pearl. We're talking about your birthday because now it's Bo Nix's birthday and it's Lion Coffee's birthday. So happy birthday month to everybody, I guess it is. And we'll be talking to you and about you a little bit later when we get to our fantastic sponsorship. But if you have any questions or thoughts in here, jump it on in. We have a little bit of an agenda, but always willing to go a little off track for the posse, because that's what it's all about. A.J. Brown trade for Moss, man. This has been a big one that's been put together, piecemealed together. Can you package Riley Moss in order to facilitate a trade for a big piece? Uh, AJ Brown, I think, would be a big piece that would help the offense. But is it the right trade off for a Riley Moss at this point, who's rumored to be on the verge of a big contract here as well? So, but would you consider that?
Yeah, I would. Just because of who you have in the wings, a first round pick that you hardly played last year, you've got to get him on the field and you've got to find out what he can do.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's a hey, I need to get it done. I sure like Riley Moss, and as much as some teams really, really struggle with the cornerback position, I know that Vance Joseph and George Payton and Sean Payton may have an eye for guys, and they can certainly coach guys up, but it worries me when you do have such a guy like Riley Moss who can play opposite of PS2 that you discard that, in some regard because you could lose a lot. We we don't want to. I don't want to throw Jade Barron to the wolves too early, only to find out that he's not capable of living up to that. I think that's a tough position to be in. Uh, yeah, Moss is good, says Paul as well.
I don't know if anyone else felt this way, but I always, I don't know why, but I always felt AJ Brown was, that 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver, and he's
Yeah.
not. I mean, he's 6'1".
Hmm.
So I don't know how many people ever, I know, took the time to really look at that. I just, even when you see him on the field, he looks big. I didn't realize he was only 6'1".
I would agree, man. I would if you would have made me guess a height, it wouldn't have been 6'1". It would have been north of that for sure. 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" would have been all easily within my range. It's when a guy plays so much bigger. You know what I mean? And he's got long arms, and he can moss balls. Quite honestly, he can go up and he can get them. He high points his possessions. So, yeah, AJ is stout. Agreed. Rodney's also saying, man, not only do you have if Moss did step up and played well, but we also have Chris Abrams Drain and of course Jade Barron that we just got talking about as well. So it would certainly be interesting to to think about that. And we had one other question, man. It was a little bit earlier, asking whether we thought with Davis Webb now, calling the plays, if we would see more RPO. I'll just put it straight out there. What is your biggest expectation that you'll see from a scheme standpoint? Not, and I definitely hear you. You're excited to get plays in and get him in on time. So we'll put that to the side. But from a scheme standpoint, what do you expect from Davis Webb that may be different than we've seen from Sean Payton over the last couple of years?
And I think you'll see Bo Nix under center more. And I think you're going to run the football more. Those, to me, are the two big things. And I think you're going to get the tight ends involved. I mean, Evan Ingram basically came out and, without saying that he was frustrated, said, "You can't blame me for lack of targets." So, um, so I think those are probably the big ones. Knowing when, I mean, I just thought Sean Payton called weird plays at times, 3rd and 1, and we're doing reverse, you know, wide receiver passes and just run the ball and get the first down and let's go. And
Yeah.
I think that's what Davis Webb will do.
Hmm. That's fair. I like how you like Jody's thing is like everything that we didn't do last year. we're
Do
gonna
you
we're
find it
gonna run the
weird that
ball. We're gonna involve the tight ends. We're gonna be under center. Everything that we didn't do last year. No, go ahead, my friend. What
I mean,
question?
when you watch Bo, it seems like he's comfortable under center, but they don't put him under there a lot. And then
Mm-hmm.
you watch Jared Stidham, and it seemed like he was in under center a lot in the AFC title game.
Hmm.
Do you think there's a reason for that? Or, I mean, I would have thought that you'd have been more in shotgun just to so he could see the field a little bit better. I mean, you knew
Yeah.
Sean Payton was going to throw him 30 plus times,
Why are we starting off under center to begin with?
right?
And the only thing I could maybe say to that is maybe you are trying to give a complete different look than anything you had on tape. If you're going to go in there, you have your backup quarterback. If you're just going to run exactly what you did with Bo Nix the week before and the week before that and the week, I mean, it's going to be way too easy to scheme up, and you know that Jarrett Stidham isn't the same athlete, so it's just going to exasperate that. If you can give them a look they haven't seen at all, maybe you can catch them. Maybe that's the thought process. That's the only thing that comes to my mind as I lost my camera, and I'll come back, man. There we go. Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just something that I thought of after watching that game. Um, but there's a lot of things. I don't really want to rehash it. I mean, it is what it is. So
All right, man. That's fair, man. We'll keep moving on because this is off season and a lot of things are changing. Pearl's just coming in and saying she says when I look back at Elway and Shanahan and think of Bo and Webb, laugh out loud. So not sure why that's funny because I could definitely see that, man. It just feels like, at the time Mike Shanahan, younger coach. Now you'll see Bo Nix, Davis Webb kind of game planning. We've always kind of seen that as far as coming off the sideline, coming over to the sideline off the field, and that was the guy that Bo Nix would go to. Now it's going to be the guy calling the plays and helping him draw it up, and could see it maybe a little bit better collaboration on the sideline. It's one of the things that always was a little bit of a frustration is you never saw that collaboration on the sideline. Sean Payton and Bo Nix, they never seemed like they got over there and got on the same page unless they were yelling at each other in their first year. So it just a different situation. You know what I mean? I think now you have that relationship where you're constantly communicating throughout that game. I think that could be hugely beneficial and allows Bo Nix, I think, the opportunity to be a little bit more involved in the game structure, going over there and
right.
being like, this is what I see. I think we could beat them with X, Y, and Z, and you're talking to the play caller at that point.
Do you think, or it may not even matter? Do you think he'll call plays from the sidelines or up in the booth?
Good question. Hopefully I want him on the sidelines, but I think that's the place he's been, and I think that would be the best opportunity for him to just take the next step. If it's too much and you need to see it from a different angle, different view, you can always push him up into the booth. But I would love to see him, down there on the sidelines. Like I said, talking with Bo Nix. I want him running off the field and those two communicating. I think that would be hugely beneficial to both of them.
Yep.
Well, we're almost right at the halfway mark, so I might as well talk about our fantastic sponsor. We'll get into the judge, man, because he had an angry face on in our back chat and in the emoji that I put in the description. But first, don't be angry. I got to talk to you about Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets has been your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, estate gold at wholesale prices for over 35 years. Gold's been on everybody's mind, so estate gold should be on your mind as well. Pearl was once a nationwide company, doing it coast to coast, but now she hangs out. She parties in your backyard. That's northern Colorado, southern Wyoming. She's been doing shows all winter long. Probably because this winter hasn't been too bad, man. It's been a pretty nice winter, except for a storm or two. Watch yourself on those ones. But she's got some fantastic shows lined up here in March. March 7th, the Survival Show at the Longmont Fairgrounds. You can check out Morgan Trinkets there. And then, I'm sorry, 7th and 8th. Got a couple of days to see him at the Survival Show. Also, the Coin Show on March 14th and 15th. She'll be there as well, Longmont Fairgrounds. Hanging out in Longmont, man. So if you're in the Longmont area in the month of March, check out the fairgrounds. You can check them out at the Survival Show or the Coin Show. You can also check them out at Morgan Trinkets by typing in Morgan Trinkets Co. You can check them out on eBay by typing in Pearl Heat. So check out Morgan Trinkets, Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold at wholesale prices. Now you can be angry, Judge. Now you can be angry, man, because there has been some thoughts as we have to, reboot every single year. What did Sean Payton say the last couple of years? You shake the board and you start all over again, clear the board of all its pieces, and you start putting it back together. A few pieces have been rumored not to be coming back as Denver Broncos free agents, and you're not happy about it, man. Where do you want to start?
It was more guys that are under contract that I heard could be cap casualties.
That's right. That's right. I'm
That
sorry.
didn't really make sense to me. And I've said it in our chat for a while. I think the Dre Greenlaw one makes the least sense of any of them. I understand the injury part of it, but you signed him injured, so you already knew that he was going to be late coming back. And like I said, I don't know how long. No one knows how long he would have been out from the hamstring injury at the end had Denver not been in position to rest him longer. So, and I need to see him. I need to see a second year with him here. This guy is a beast, and I thought he played well in the playoffs, both playoff games. So, especially with no linebackers, none of your starters, or Singleton or Strnad, they're both free agents. I'm bringing Greenlaw back. That's the easiest one for me. And then probably 1A is Brandon Jones. You've seen that drop off for a while. I thought PJ Locke played well in the playoff game against Buffalo, but you could see a dip for a while without Brandon Jones back there. So I'm bringing him back. And then the last one, I'm sure there are people on the fence with this one, is Ben Powers. I'm not rocking the boat on this offensive line. I thought there's a reason that they made the switch back to Powers after Kocheski was there for a while. I mean, he started off hot and it kind of fell off. So there's a reason that this O-line is one of the best in football and had the number 2 running back before Dobbins got hurt. And there's a reason Bo is one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the NFL.
A couple of comments on just what you're talking about here. Rodney Garcia coming in saying Dre smacked Josh Jacobs in that Green Bay game. Paul's coming in over on YouTube. He says re-sign Brandon Jones 100%. Not playing there, man. Rodney's also saying you might get an opportunity. Check out the Broncos versus 49ers game here at Levi Stadium. And Paul's just reminding him he might hear a lot of 49ers cheering. And not so much with the Broncos. I'm going to work this backwards from what you just talked about, man. Ben Powers, that's the guy probably of all the pieces and parts I probably want back the most. I don't want to mess with the protection of Bo Nix. I don't want to mess with what is one of the best offensive lines in all of the NFL. This is your bread and butter. Offensive line, defensive line, the trenches. You got to have this squared away. It's why even Sean Payton came in. He said it was priority 1 when he walked in the doors to try to get that all squared up. Don't mess with it. Go ahead and draft a guy, bring more talent in. I get it, but I think you're playing with fire if you let Ben Powers just walk out the door without a great replacement for him. Brandon Jones.
No, I agree with that. And like you said, that was, I think he was either the first or the second signing that they made when Sean Payton got here. I mean, him and McGlinchey.
Yep.
They paid big money. They shored up that O-line. Man, I don't think Powers is. You're gonna have money whether you cut Powers or not. So, I'm not taking I'm not taking the risk of it falling off to save some money when you don't really need to.
Yeah. I agree. We are in a great position, and you do have to make some decisions. Some of these decisions seem like they could just be pay everybody and try to bring everybody back, but we know that's not going to be the case. I'm moving to Brandon Jones. Interesting case here because I love Brandon Jones. I think he brings a completely different dynamic on that back end than what we saw when he's not there. But I also think back to the day that we signed Brandon Jones and we just went, why did we waste our money signing this guy from Miami?
That was right after we cut Justin Simmons too.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, you know, I, I if we had to move on from Brandon Jones, yes, I think that we lose a piece, but at the same time, I think that we have the opportunity with the players that we have on the roster, what we can bring in the door, that we I don't think we fall off like we see in some other positions. Yes, I'd be sad to move on from Brandon Jones. I don't think it's the number one. I'm going to rubber stamp this. This is a fantastic idea type of move. But if it did come down to that, I think that it's something that's very survivable. If not, maybe even you could find an upgrade within that position because, like I allude to, no one was excited about Brandon Jones when he first walked in the door. He earned that, man. He earned that by the type of play that he did, and I think, quite honestly, as it was pointed out by us, it depends on what type of defense you're playing in. This was a
Right.
Brandon Jones type of defense. He didn't play in a defense like this in Miami, and we got the best out of him. So that's my kind of mediocre kind of play on Brandon Jones. Now, Dre
If you
Greenlaw,
if
go
you
ahead,
let
man.
Brandon Jones go, is re-signing PJ Locke a must then?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I would absolutely put that. I just that's why I'm saying I think you miss. I think PJ Locke is great. You know what I mean? I think he's a more than capable guy that understands this defense, can play within the bounds of this defense, and does a fantastic job. I just think Brandon Jones brings you another level, especially when he's playing next to Hufanga. Those two play off each other really, really well, and I don't see the same chemistry. So, but at the same time, that's your best option. I mean, that I can see right now without diving into free agency and everything else and all the what ifs. On your roster, you know what you have. So I would
Right.
absolutely say PJ Locke is a guy that I'd lock up at that point. I'd lock him up. Um, Dre Greenlaw, and this is where we're going to differ the most, man. But I do got to say this, man. I got to ask you this one first. If we go out and we get Devin Lloyd tomorrow, does that would that change your thought process at all on Dre Greenlaw? Because I think that's the type of move that we really need to make out of anything. If I want to go out there, I'm going to invest in a free agent, pay big bucks. I'm more. I mean, I love what Devin Lloyd is doing out there. Would that change your mind at all?
No, because you got to have two starters in there, and I'm pairing them right up. And I only say that because I've seen what a healthy Dre Greenlaw looked like, and I don't think it was A+ this year. I mean, he's even said it was like learning Spanish. This type of defense, and he's brought up the way Sean Payton runs his camps compared to Kyle Shanahan. So there was massive transition there. I think a year under his belt. He's going into the offseason healthy, which he wasn't last year. He's coming off that major injury from the Super Bowl. So there are some things there. And there's a reason Denver targeted him. I mean, there were other linebackers that were healthy out there. I mean, they had Cody Barton here they could have brought back, and they targeted this guy. There's also a reason San Francisco, I think they flew to Houston or wherever to try to convince him to come back as well. So I'm not moving on from that after 1 year. I want to see what a healthy offseason and him healthy going into OTAs and that type of thing look like.
Mm. And maybe it's just me, but I just I have this issue with relying on injuries when they just keep seeming to come back. I mean, we saw him. He got injured during the Super Bowl, worked his way back, played a couple of games. Maybe did or didn't look that great with San Francisco before he came back and he got injured in training camp, and then he came back and then he got injured in the season, and then he came back. It's just like at some point, the reliance, the best ability is availability, and my concern is that as great as Dre Greenlaw is, are we ever going to see that consistency of availability, and do you want to rely on it? At some point, we'll have to make that decision. Like you said, maybe it's a year too soon. It's almost the end of his contract, but I think if we get the right candidate in the door, you might be able to to be tempted and go in that direction and letting go of a Dre Greenlaw. Caden Ellis is the vote for Rodney Garcia and get the Ellis brothers back together, says
I was gonna
Paul.
say I think Jonas Ellis will be in favor of that.
There you go.
But talking linebackers, there's an injured linebacker that they're keeping around for whatever reason. He practiced all of the playoffs. I don't know why, but I still feel like he is going to have. You'll know right away if Denver doesn't address it right away, or if they don't re-sign Alex Singleton right away. I feel like that they are going to put a lot of faith in Drew Sanders finally getting healthy.
Yeah, there's another one, man. Supposed to be a big part of what we were going to do last year. Of course, got injured, ended up being basically part of nothing we did last year. But a lot of faith there that was showing for Drew Sanders heading into last season, him taking over that position. I got to get to this one, man. I could see Evans getting cut. I like him being on the team, though. I could see Evans getting cut, says Paul, and Pearl's 100% agreeing with that as well.
Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram.
I'm not moving. I'm not moving on from him. Was he the Joker that everyone talked about? No. But if you compare what he did last year to what we've had from tight ends since probably all the way back to, I don't know, Julius Thomas or whoever the tight end was in the Super Bowl, I can't think, from the Colts. I thought he was, I think he had like 50 receptions, almost 500 yards. I mean, the touchdowns were down, but I mean, if you go look, I mean, that's what he was, 3, 4, 1. He had that one big year in Jacksonville. That was it. Mm-hmm. And I want to see, I mean, he's already made the comments, like I said earlier, about not much you can do when you're not getting targets. So because he still was fast, and you can go watch like the Washington game when he made that catch in overtime or made the only touchdown he scored all year against Philly. I mean, he made plays. I just want to see what he can do if he actually gets legit, targets in a game.
Getting some pushback on Drew Sanders. Drew Sanders, what? And Pearl's saying Drew Sanders might get cut. I'm not ruling him out, man.
That's just more of a gut feeling for me. Why he's still around? Why they practiced him all in the playoffs? He couldn't play. I mean, I guess they could have activated him, but there was enough other guys that we thought Wattenberg got one. We thought Dobbins if they made the Super Bowl, but they were practicing him. There's a reason. I just have that gut feeling that they want, now that he's healthy, they want to see what he can do.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Like I said, I still remember heading into last season, everyone was very excited about his possibility of, really being a key piece of what the Denver Broncos were going to do. It was a big step backwards. Kept him on this roster, kept him around, kept practicing him. You know what I mean? It seems like they want something out of Drew Sanders. But
if I was
to fruition, though, so
really gonna guess, I think Alex Singleton gets re-signed, whether it's a 1-2 year deal. VJ's made no bones about it. He loves Singleton here. I mean, he's a green dot. He's Warrior C for the last 2 years. I think the cancer thing really coming back, 2 weeks after that, played up in the locker room. Is he the greatest in coverage? No, but does Denver really ask him to cover all that much? No. And he made big plays. I mean, if it wasn't for that hit on James Cook in the playoffs, you're probably going down 17-3, and where's this game at if Buffalo goes down and scores right there? So that changed the whole game around. And for all he can't cover and stuff, I mean, he makes a lot of plays, and I just think that if I was going to guess, I think he's brought back and you draft someone that can be ready in a year or two. That's my guess.
Well, we're gonna take your guess, and we're gonna see if between my guesses and your guesses, we can maybe find a solution there. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But the final piece that we had to our show that I want to get to, my friend, is players that we are looking forward to seeing in the NFL Combine. It's been a couple of days worth of interviews. Like I said, man, this is what I'd really like to be a part of. This is the process I'd really like to get to see. Is all the interviews that are happening right now between teams, coaches, GMs, and all these potential players. But that being said, we don't get to see that. But we do get to see what they get to do out there on the field as they run their drills, run their 40s, throw passes, whatever it have you may be. Um, and I mean, there's some great, fantastic players, um, and I'd like to talk about a few of them. But first, I got to get to the comments because I see them kind of blowing up, and I missed some stars I see from Mr. Michael Ronquillo. So I apologize. He's coming in and saying, "Good evening, Keith and Jody and Go Broncos." He's got the blue and orange hearts. He's got the mile high salute. And I'll be checking on those stars, my friend, as he's making me aware of it now, making sure that they all came through. Um, this is a question that Rodney has that's probably near and dear to Jody here. Jody, do you think the Broncos messed up on moving on from Estime to pair with RJ Harvey? One last question before we get to our players that we'd like to see in the combine, my friend.
Yeah, but I don't really think that it had anything to do with pairing him with Harvey. It had more had to do with what did Tyler Beatty offer you all year.
Mm,
But you could see last year, I mean, he didn't play in like whatever 12, 13, 14 games last year. And then you activated him over Estime in Buffalo last year. So for whatever reason, Sean Payton is enamored by him and whatever. If you want to go back and watch, Stidham's fumble, backwards pass, whatever you want to call it, that's on Tyler Beatty. He ran the wrong route there.
mm.
And I wonder how much that sticks in Sean Payton. If a couple fumbles is why Estime's not here, then what's that? So that's where I think they messed up. They kept the wrong three around. I have no problems with Dobbins. I had no problem. I mean, I thought they overdrafted Harvey, but once he was drafted, he was going to be here. But Estime should have been over McLaughlin. He should have been over Tyler Bidet as well. But I guess they have two more chances at two more Notre Dame running backs who I'm really high on. So
We'll get to one of those in just a second. Pearl saying they can save a bunch of money by cutting Evan Ingram. If I remember correctly, about 3.8 million, scheduled to make about 11 this season. I did see the stars. 1,000 stars. Michael Ronquillo, thank you, my friend. Supporting the show in the off season like nobody's business. And Michael Ronquillo saying the Broncos made the right decision to let go of running back Audric Estime. He's playing the other side of the coin on that one. It's interesting, man. We'll get into our prospects, but I actually do have a running back prospect that I'm excited to look at. Where are you going to start, man? What position are you excited to see here at the NFL Combine as we get kicked off tomorrow?
Jeremiah Love is the main one for me. He's going to be out of reach for Denver. He's going top 10. And unless Denver wants to give the farm up for him, they're not going to get him. I mean, he's 6 feet, almost 220. I think he compares to Bijan Robinson. I'm excited to see what he runs there. I think he'll be under a 4.4. He's an elite running back, and I think he's better than what Genty was last year, and we've seen where he went. My only knock on him, but I think this can get coached out of, he likes to try to hurdle a lot of guys.
Mm.
But other than that, this guy can do everything. He can pass block. He's big, fast, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So whoever gets him, I just hope he doesn't fall to the Chiefs at 9. I don't really care wherever else he goes in the top 10 per se, but don't fall to Kansas City because I don't feel like playing that 2, maybe 3 times a year.
Mm, fair enough. Fair enough. Any reason, in your opinion, to do that, to get all the way into the top 10? Do you think he's that elite of a talent, or that elite of a talent within this draft? By the way, Pearl saying great show, gotta go. See ya. Good night, and good night to you, Pearl. Have a fantastic one. Check out Morgan Trickets, everybody. But do you think it's worth trying to figure out a way to get into the top 10, make that happen? Is it that great?
I think it is, and I'm not saying that as a homer guy. I just think what he offers is, I mean, that to me is the one missing piece. If you did nothing on offense and you brought back the same wide receivers, you brought back Evan Ingram, I think one elite running back can take you over the top. And we've seen that in the playoff game when you had 3 number 2, number 3 running backs that couldn't run the football.
Very good, man. I'm gonna get a different running back for you. I'll go with that one next. But first, I want to get to Michael Ronquillo because I love the way that the connections can be made sometimes. He says I think Davis Webb will get the best out of tight end Evan Ingram because well they played together when they both played at the New York Football Giants. Man, good call out, man. I mean, this might be a better connection than we really realize. You just got done talking about that player coach connection and Davis Webb maybe having that because of his age, a better one than Sean Payton. Maybe even more when, well, he was the quarterback for Evan Ingram in some capacity when they both played for the New York Giants. Good call out, Michael Ronquillo. I'm going to give you one that might be able to fall within the range. Obviously, would fall within the range because I wouldn't take him in the first round. Rashul Faishon, running back out of South Carolina, senior, very similar to the stats you were kind of talking about as far as size. And that's one of the things that I really like about this. 5'11, 213 pounds, a pass catcher as well, has great hands out of the backfield, runs with some good intensity. Now, he played for Utah State University for his first 3 years, transferred to South Carolina for his final year. So what he was able to do in the Mountain West Conference was maybe got to take it with a little bit with a grain of salt because I think he was a man playing in a boys' league in a little way. Once he got to South Carolina, though, I thought he was still impressive. I want that bigger back. I think that's what we need in this particular situation. It's the reason I love Jeremiah Love as well. But like you said, I think he's a little bit maybe out of reach unless the Broncos do something. So I'm looking for that other option, another option that can really get downhill, be even a goal line guy if need be. And that's what I see in Rashul Fashan out of South Carolina. Where are you going next, my friend?
You know what I found myself doing on running backs, and I don't know if this is weird or not. And after looking at size, the first thing I go to is can you pass block? Because it seems like that's the most important thing in Sean Payton's team. Tyler Berde doesn't get carries, he doesn't do anything, but he can pass block.
Yeah.
And then that's what makes me wonder what was the why RJ Harvey? I mean, he's not a great pass blocker. He's not great between the tackles. I mean, he's a good receiving back out of the backfield, but he didn't check 2 of the boxes, and we drafted him high. That's so I'm a little confused there on. I mean, the reports why they didn't keep estimate. He wasn't great in pass block. Tyler Berde is that type of thing. Why Harvey was, even Dobbins, he was here. I mean, he was great in pass block. And it was obvious that he could do a lot of things. But why they went that route with Harvey? But that's what I've been looking at first is can you pass block? Because it seems to be you're going to throw the ball 30 plus times. I still think that Sean Payton's going to be in Davis Webb's ear saying, throw it. And you pick whatever pass play you want, but we're throwing it here.
Yeah, the one thing I'd say is that hopefully Davis Webb can change a lot of the things that we saw that we questioned with Sean Payton. You know, the running back rotation, who's in there, why they're in there that week. You know, maybe that changes a little bit as well. If nothing else, the utilization. You're going to dress multiple running backs, but maybe we can stick with the running back, keep a hot hand, get a lather going for some of these guys. A lot of things that I think that could end up changing. We will have to go a little bit more rapid fire. We can go a little bit further. Michael Ronquillo says the Broncos have zero chance to trade up for running back. Love from Notre Dame. You know, there's always a 2% chance, Michael. You never know, but I think you're right. I don't think there's much of a chance that we rocket ourselves all the
I
way.
think the only chance that you have is New Orleans is picking 8, and you have a tie with
Mm,
there, and you might be able to give a little bit less. But
this is true.
but he's right. Yeah, the draft calculator says you're gonna have to give up multiple first rounders and multiple second rounders, and I mean you're talking almost the Ricky Williams Saints trade. I mean you're gonna have to give up a lot to get him.
That's fair. That's fair. Good reference there, by the way. Rodney Garcia wants to know what other running back studs are there in this draft. I like I like Jonah Coleman. That's a guy that we talked about on this last one. Um, who else do you have on your short list of running backs that you might also be looking at? I know there's one other name that maybe you want to talk about right now.
Well, there's two for me. There's the running back from Penn State,
Singleton,
Singleton, but I am a
but
little
he got
worried that
injured, so that we're not going to
he
see
just
that.
broke
Yeah,
his ankle at the Senior Bowl, so
yeah,
that worries me a little bit. And
like him
then
too.
the
Like
other
him
one
too.
is Jadarian Price. I mean, there are talks that he could sneak into the first round. He probably would have been 1,000-yard back if he wasn't splitting carries with Love. He can do everything as well. I think he's like 5'11", like 210. He's a bigger running back with speed. He can run up the middle and bounce it outside as well. So that's another. Those two would be for me. But you're just not going to see Singleton because he's hurt, and
Yeah.
I bet you don't see anything from him. You won't see anything from him till after the draft. So
Another name I just watch out for, Rodney, Mike Washington Jr. He's on the name. Smaller back, not the type of back like I said, I was kind of looking for, but good quality running back that is expected to go fairly early as well. That's another name I'd look out for. Like what he puts on tape, but again, just not the type of back I'm
is
looking for.
is Coleman the running back from Washington?
Yes, yep, exactly.
Yeah, I like him too.
Jonah Coleman, yep.
Yep, I like him too. So
That's that. He's a bowling ball of a guy, man, and like his vision, gets downhill, can be that blocker that you were talking about earlier as well. Good pass blocker, in my opinion. Um, just kind of going on. I don't know how many other guys you had. I just had like, if I can find all my notes. I'm sorry, man. I'm all over the place tonight. Oscar Delp is tight end that I'm kind of interested in. Oscar Delp had a tight end out of Georgia, plays also kind of a fullback role. Senior, 6'5", 245 pounds, big guy. Can be a blocker. The thing that I'm probably most interested in the combine of seeing is exactly those drills. I want to see him run the gauntlet. I want to see him run the 40. I think he wasn't necessarily utilized much as a tight end, where I think he has more ability, more meat on the bone to be a pass catching tight end out there. He's a big body. I think he has pretty good hands. There has been some questions about how well he holds onto the ball in traffic, and he has a little bit shorter arms. But Oscar Delp, a tight end, we all know that we need a tight end. We all know that we probably need a fullback. Might be able to fit both of those roles in some capacity. I'd like to see Oscar Delp in this one.
another tight end for me is Eli Stowers. I like
Mm,
him out of Vandy. I've seen some mocks where he falls to Denver at 30. He's he's big, but he's not a blocking tight end. He's going to be more your receiving tight end.
mm.
Um, and I think that'll be interesting to see what Davis Webb wants on this field. Does he want? I mean, we're basically playing little Jordan Humphreys just to block.
Hmm.
Troutman's out there to block, or is he going to try to get some more playmakers out there? And Evan Ingram, you better learn to block, or some of these other guys that don't block. That's going to be interesting to see too.
I got one last one, man. I don't know how many you have, and then we should probably get wrapping up and get on out of here. But the combine, man, what an exciting time. We're going to see a lot of players hit the field over the next few days. I want to go on the defensive side of the ball on this one, man, and I feel like I should be maybe on here with Trevor, the Rocket Man Salzman, because he's been calling for this position, and it's just a guy that's kind of piqued my interest as of lately. Dominique Orange out of Iowa State, defensive lineman, senior, 6'4", 325 pounds, can play that zero technique, 1-2 technique, just 3 technique if need be. I think he has more range and possibility than you'd expect. You even saw him in some plays dropping back and batting down passes as he was asked to do a little bit of coverage, in his own scheme. But the guy's a plugger up front, man. It's been a long time since we had just a guy that absolutely just, stops guys in the center. We went up against James Cook again this year, Jody. I still wasn't happy with the results against James Cook. We need some guys up front. We've been talking about John Franklin Myers and his exit potentially, let alone we'll have to add some depth and some rotation on that defensive line. We talked about at the very beginning how I don't want Ben Powers gone because I don't want to disrupt that offensive line. I'd like to add some depth. Dominique Orange is a guy I'd really like to I'm really looking forward to seeing here at the Combine over the next few days, man.
Yeah, I agree because I can't see really a way that John Franklin Myers is back. I mean, they paid Malcolm Roach. I think he moves in as a starter, whether that's at the nose and you bump DJ Jones out or vice versa. I think that's your starting 3: Roach, DJ Jones, and Allen next year on the line. So,
yep, and maybe a little Dominique Orange, man. I'm telling you, man, I'd love to have that zero technique back in Denver. It's been too long. Might be a great developmental piece for Vance Joseph or whoever else.
And you are right because, I mean, even DJ Jones, he's not a true zero technique. He was playing, outside whatever the 3 in San Francisco when they brought him over. So, I think that is one. I mean, you have a Razurike, I guess, who's probably a true. And I thought he played well last year, but you need more. You need more there. And the other reason I think that they move on from Franklin Myers, if you go look at from when Roach came back to the end of the season, he outsnapped John Franklin Myers as it was anyways. So that's why I think that. That's why I think, and they paid him. I mean, you can see the writing on the wall, really.
That's exactly the words I was going to use. Rodney wants to know a little writing on the wall as far as Savion Jones is concerned. He says, how do you see Savion Jones' development going forward, going into next season? More reps for Savion Jones. There was questions up there of whether we move on from Jonathan Cooper as potentially a, trade asset as well. I think that would obviously, something like that would facilitate it. But Savion Jones, what are your thoughts, him hitting the field a little more?
Yeah, I think he definitely needs to at least be active on game day this coming year. It's a bus pick. And he needs to kind of be in that rotation. He kind of falls in that same group as Q Robinson. They need to be active all year and dressing and playing in the rotation. I don't think either will start, but they need to be in the rotation for sure.
Yeah, it does become tough, man, when you do have kind of a glut of talent at certain positions and you want to get people rotated in and get people time. Savion Jones is one of those guys. We talked about another one earlier in Jody Barron, about how we'd like to see him get more time. But it was really tough, obviously, when you had a healthy PS2 Riley Moss, Jaquan McMillan out there trying to find a position for Jade Barron to get squeezed in there. You don't want to you don't want to take a step backwards just in order to get a guy a rep or two. And there was too many games in this season, like we were talking about earlier, Jody, where it was one-score games, close-score games. It's not like you were up by 20 points late and you're like, hey, let's get some guys rotated in here. Maybe something we're looking forward to in the future. Michael Ronquillo just says, Nick Kendall from Building the Broncos said, drafting a running back in the first round will be a mistake because they will start to decline when they get too much of the load in the offense. They,
My only pushback to that is look at all the first round running backs that are currently starting, that are producing. Look at Derrick Henry. Look at Jahmyr Gibbs. Look at Saquon Barkley. I mean, there's more. There's more out there. Look at how many are out there that are first round picks. Genty, I mean, he was almost 1,000-yard running back on a crappy team. You know, I think Omarion Hampton is going to be good in LA. I mean, he's getting both of his offensive tackles back next year. There's a lot of first round running backs out there. So I'll have to, and if you even go look at quarterback numbers, there wasn't a lot of quarterbacks that threw. I don't think anyone threw for 5,000 yards this year. If you take away Matthew Stafford, who had 40-some touchdowns, who was next? Barely in the 30s. It's going back that way. You've got to be able to run the football, and you could see that was the major flaw why we didn't beat the Patriots. When it came down to it, New England just said, we can run the ball and you can't, and that's it.
Michael, one thing I would say, and not maybe to you, but Nick Kendall, and maybe a pushback to him, I think you can't go into it thinking that direction. When you enter into that even first round and you're got them on a 3-year contract, that's why running backs who get their third contract are so, applauded, I guess you could say. You can get a second contract, but getting that third contract as a running back that's when you're starting to talk about it. If you have a running back, if you got Jeremiah Love and the possibility to bring Jeremiah Love to your roster, and you're able to utilize him for the next 3 years, you take that chance. You take it all day long. And someone's going to do it. Absolutely. They're going to do it in the top 10, maybe within the top 5 of this year. No different than you were just pointing out with Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty was absolutely made sense for a team to add him to their roster for the next 3 years and maybe look at a second contract. And if he gets that third one, fantastic. But I think that you're not going to see the drop-off within their rookie contract for most running backs. You have that ability to, and that's been why running backs have been so upset with the way that things are kind of set up, because running backs can really be ran into the ground within their first contract and then kind of shoveled off as the new batch of running backs come in to replace them, I guess you could say. So,
and that's the way it's kind of going now. It's kind of, you don't have 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks throwing for 50 touchdowns and 5,000. We're running the football. We just had a 2,000-yard rusher last year, so the running game is coming back. I mean, what would Denver be? I mean, look at Buffalo. They have one of the top quarterbacks, and they still run the football. I mean, what's Denver with a James Cook?
Yep. As that defensive line and especially those linebackers got faster, smaller, quicker to try to keep up with the tight ends and the wide receivers and the running backs coming out of the backfield, good offensive coordinators are going to flip it the other way. And they're going to say, you know what? Now I'm going to get in there. I'm going to get a big old bruiser. I'm going to pound the ball. I'm going to wear down that light defensive line. I'm going to make those smaller linebackers tackle all day long. And before you know it, the game is out of hand and you got a running game that's chugging down the field. The running game is coming back. I'll absolutely agree with you, Jody. Jody, we went overtime, man. Overtime on an NFL Combine. episode, man. Lots to talk about. The one thing I'll say it in my final comments. I'll just put it in my final thoughts, man. But lots to talk about. We didn't even maybe even scratch the surface. Lots of prospects to still kind of talk about. I'm excited to do it all off season, but we do got to get running. Some final thoughts from you, my friend.
I'll just float this out there. What is Bo Nix hurt? If Denver has a legit running game, is Sean Payton running him at the end of the game, or are we handing the football off? That's why it's important. I mean, yeah, you drafted RJ Harvey in the second round, and you still weren't using him in clutch time. Um, so it's important. We'll never know if he gets hurt or doesn't. There's a lot of what ifs, but I think it's important. It's like the missing piece. If Denver addressed nothing on offense, find a legit running back that can stay healthy and get you over 1,000 yards. That is the missing piece. I'll live if you don't draft another wide receiver. I'll go off of what Trevor said and hope that Troy Franklin has another big leap. Hopefully Pat Bryant stays healthy, and hopefully they utilize Evan Ingram more. But to me, it's the most important position that we need to address, and I hope they're doing their due diligence on a lot of running backs, and I would be fine if they drafted multiple running backs. I mean, but we need a 3-down running back. That's what we need.
Michael's going to be watching the offensive lineman in the NFL Combine. I was this close, Michael, to put an offensive lineman on my top 3 list of NFL Combine players to watch. So I'm right there with you, my friend. I'll be watching. Draft a stud running back, says Rodney Garcia. He had a few comments in there at the end that I didn't get to, but he's right on board getting that running back and getting things solved here, man. Final thought from me. Sean Payton's not very adamant about things, but the one thing he was adamant about, and it was, almost calling out his ownership group right there at the NFL Combine presser, get George Payton done.
Yep.
Get this man a contract and get it done now. And I couldn't agree more. I want to see George Payton all taken care of, what he's been able to do with this organization, the relationship that he has with Sean Payton, the direction he's taken, the way that he's been able to maneuver, especially even when we maybe do make a mistake like Russell Wilson. This is a guy that you want in your building. You don't want questions about him walking out the door. Great relationship, and it's the way that the Broncos are going to continue to build and be successful, in my opinion, is having guys like George Payton in the building. So, Walter Penner Group, I don't have the cred that Sean Payton does, but now you're getting called out by me. Go ahead and get George Payton his contract as quickly as possible. Thank you.
I'll second that.
All right. Jody, man, thanks for a fantastic episode. Can't wait to be breaking down more players in this offseason, getting ready for the NFL draft. Combine's right around the corner. We'll be getting numbers all compiled and stats, and everything's going to be coming out over the next week, man. We'll have lots to talk about. We go live every Wednesday, every Saturday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time with the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. Then we also have The Juice. The Juice is on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and that talks all football, so all 32 teams, even some college football as well. And then we've just added Sunday nights. Kenny and Trevor have got a mock draft show. It's the Pick Is In Mock Draft Podcast. There we go. The Pick Is In Mock Draft Podcast, also 8 p.m. Sunday nights. Got to check them out as well. One last question. Rodney Scott, when is free agency? Jody?
I think legal tampering starts the 10th and the 12th or something. This is when it starts.
Yeah, I think you're
So
right.
like in 2 weeks, basically.
I had March 13th for some reason in my head as far as like opening, but I might
That
be
might
wrong on there.
I don't know. Let me pull a calendar.
See if we can
Maybe
get
like the
exact
9th or something. It opens, and the 11th or like that Monday the 9th is when legal tampering starts, and then the 11th is full go.
Full go. Okay.
When guys are signed 5 minutes afterwards, and there was no contact beforehand.
No, no, it's just amazing how those contracts all come together within about 15 seconds, man. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing to have posse. Oh, there you go. March 9th and 11th. Michael Ronquillo. Just ask the man himself, the brain, Michael Ronquillo. Appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you on multiple standpoints. Coming in here, supporting the show like you always do, dropping stars like tonight. Thanks for all the posse members for being along for the ride. Love the conversation. We want to continue it going. Like I said, lots of podcasts. You can also check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as well. Take us on the go. But we do got to get out of here. We're going to say goodnight by the way we always do. Boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, and, of course, the Denver Broncos in your heart. Till next episode. We're out of here. Have a great night, everybody. Can't wait to see you again.